Hey everybody, what's going on? It's the Florida Rican homesteader Luis Rivera, and I'm here today to talk to you about what I think is the top 5 reasons people who come out here come out onto the land to start homesteading end up eventually leaving the land. Um, I figured while I'm out here relaxing, about to medicate with some CBD, um, because we already put in a long day. 2 coops got cleaned. We're out in the garden, in the main garden, pulling up some weeds. So it's time to take a little break, rest my back up a little bit, and then we'll be getting back at it. Uh, we'll be getting back at it later on, probably around like 5 o'clock. Um, there's a lot of stuff we still got to do where we're planting the pasture over at the foraging pasture right over there. So all right, I wrote it down so I didn't forget. Uh, and I didn't want to be rambling either. So, top 5 reasons people give up on homesteading and end up returning to the cities or the suburbs. I'd say the number one reason would be money. I think people dramatically underestimate the cost at just how much money goes into building the infrastructure to sustain your homestead or upkeep. Whether it's fencing, whether it's on our main coop, for some reason the wood at the bottom just goes, so we got to keep replacing that. um, it's not like an all the time thing, it's just a once a season thing because of the rain and whatnot. But it's things like that. I think people don't end up putting enough thought into it and calculating just how much money it is. And they don't realize how long it takes to get the homestead up and functioning, actually functioning, to where it will be able to offset some expenses. Whether it's a little bit of groceries here, a little bit of groceries there. Eggs, we haven't bought eggs since 2021. Um, Actually, since like January or February of 2021, we haven't bought it. I believe it's January. But I mean, January, February, it's not a huge difference. Who cares? But yeah, we haven't bought eggs in about 5 years. The number two reason I think is that the work is just too hard for a lot of people. I think most people understand that when they get into this, they're going to have to do a lot of hard work. I just don't think they realize the amount of hard work and how long you have to put in that hard work for. Um, I mean, I and if you don't just take it one project at a time, one day at a time, one season at a time, one month at a time, what I think happens is eventually that hard work begins to overwhelm you, and you feel like you can't do it. I know some people who've felt like they can't do it, packed up, and they're gone now. You know what I mean? Um, like with us, we always give ourselves extra time. We always allot so much extra time when it comes to a project. Say like the isolation coop, where we had to end up putting rehoming one of our chickens who was just getting picked on too much by the flock she was with. Right? I gave myself, I think, a week. I said 7 to 10 days, because of my back and all the herniated discs and whatnot. But and the heat from Florida, from living in Florida and working out in the sun in Florida. I mean, I enjoy it, but That's just me, but it does beat you down being out in that heat. So I give myself 7 to 10 days. Um, I finish in 5. Finish basically the walls, the door entrance we open to get in there and clean out all the old pine shavings and her waste and whatever. Um, and then her door that she leaves, you know. So we had the walls all framed up and everything. Everything was perfect. It took me about 5 days, and it did end up taking. It took me 5 days to prefabricate everything, but it did end up taking me about 7 days. I think maybe 8 days, because like I said, living rurally, you are living remotely when you're out here homesteading, when you are going to be living remotely. So it's like we just waited till the next time we had to go to a big city that had the deck blocks, which is what I like to put the coops on. Um, the next big coop we actually build, we're gonna tear down that big coop that we have, and we're gonna put a slab, and then we'll put the deck blocks on the concrete slab, and then we'll put the coop, and then we'll build the coop on the deck blocks. But that will just prevent any rodents from getting in there, or anything that likes to burrow. But like I said, that's a lot of work. People don't realize how much work goes into it. It's constantly, there's constantly something to do. So I think that's probably the second reason in the top 5. That's my number 2. My number 3 reason is just people don't realize how much time it takes to build a well-functioning homestead. And people don't realize that they're tied to their homestead until they have their systems well functioning. And I don't mean tied to your homestead to the point where you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. My wife and I go kayaking. We go to the beaches. We go to the springs, down to Orlando, the Universal Studios thing. I can't, City Walk or whatever it's called. Mine's like blanking. We like to go to Jack's Beach, Pine Island. They had a nice beach. Fort Island had a nice beach. But you know what I'm saying? You're not going on no 5-day cruise until you've built your functioning homestead. You're not going to be able to do anything like that. And I think that is very demoralizing for a lot of people, because they're so used to being interconnected, and being able to get up and move and go and just do anything they want whenever they want. But when you're tending to animals, when you're tending to plants, when you're tending to construction projects that you got going on, or you know what I'm saying, like with the range, you know what I mean, like, you're not gonna have time to go on no vacations. I think like 10 years in, maybe 7 to 10 years in, once you've got everything set up the way you want it, you got your systems down pat, I think then you could get someone to, you know, because people do this, they do farm sit. They have people who have businesses where they farm sit. You tell them what you want, you tell them what, you know, you go show them how to do it, and they'll do it. But that's not going to happen until you have a well-oiled machine that's functioning, on point all the time. My number 4 reason I would say would be loneliness, and this is basically for people who move on to the land, but they don't move on to the land with somebody or with anybody, and they kind of fail at building a community, right? Because you have to put yourself out there, and I know In this day, time and hour, it's kind of hard to put yourself out there, especially with people you don't know. Um, I definitely know that it can be hard to build a community, but it can be done. We moved out here. We didn't know anybody. Now one of my wife's brothers lives down here. One of my brothers lives down here, and we've just met people who we've created our own community with. That we're part that we're part of their community. They're part of our community, and that kind of defeats loneliness, because if you are lonely out here, you're not going to make it. If you cannot find a way, excuse me, if you cannot find a way to get over that loneliness, I mean, you don't even have to build, say you don't feel comfortable building meeting people in your area, but there's a bigger city, or people you think you might get along with better, or might click with you better. Go to that area, meet people. I wouldn't suggest bringing those strangers out to your house, whether you meet them in town, in your community, or wherever you feel comfortable with. But you can't bring them back until you've actually built a relationship with them. But I really think that loneliness sets in and ends up driving people back to the environment that they chose to leave, all because they're a little lonely. You know what I mean? And it's sad that loneliness can be that much of a deterrent for people living out here and starting their homestead and actually gaining some type of independence. Because I don't know, man. If at least one person in your family if you and your family aren't working together to get at least one person on some land, I think you are failing. I think you are being irresponsible as a family unit. And this isn't to bash anybody. It's just if you look at the trends going on around the world, and you look at the trends in this country, then you know we're heading for some bad times. So I find it irresponsible that if you're not on land by 2028, if you do not have a family member that you have all contributed to getting onto the land by 2028, I think you are in basically you're going to be locked in for neo-feudalism or techno-feudalism. Sorry, not neo-feudalism. But you are locked into the 15-minute cities. You're locked into the B system. You're locked into these. You're going to be locked into being a techno serf, working the gig economy, living off scraps, eating cricket flour. Driving your electric cars. You can only get into this city if you have the right paperwork, if you have the right virtual ID. So I think it's kind of irresponsible at this point. If you're not looking for land and trying to, get at least one family member on some land by 2028. I really think 2027 might be the last year, but I don't want anybody to not, if you have the chance in 2028, then I want you to jump on it. And I want you to start practicing your growing skills right now. You should be anyways practicing how you're going to grow, even though you might move to an area that has a different growing conditions than you're used to. You will be able to adapt your knowledge to that situation. So you should be growing while you're looking to get on land. So if you're in a suburb, grow in your backyard. If you're in an apartment, grow on your porch. You know what I mean? There's even these cheap little lights you can get to go inside your house, and you can grow some different plants like cilantro, That's an easy one to grow. Bunching onions, stuff like that. Kale. These things will grow nice under those lights. The fifth and final reason that I think people end up leaving is that we have been given this culture of instant rewards and instant gratification. Greed is good. We want everything now. We don't have any patience. We want the 2-second TikTok video instead of a real informative, long-form conversation. We want people to do our research for us, which is why I think AI is catching on so quickly, because the instant gratification that our society has promoted is so out of line. It's grotesque. Running a homestead is really an experiment for the first 3 to 5 years. While you're getting all your systems in place, you're finding out what works, you're finding out what doesn't work, you're finding out what animals are good for the environment you're in, you're finding out what animals are not good for the environment you're in. And heartbreak will be the best teacher. It will be your best teacher. It will make sure you do not make the same mistakes twice. But like I said, running a 3 to 5 year experiment does not fit in with that mind control, that mind programming you've had to seek an instant reward or to seek instant gratification. They're diametrically opposed, right? So this is a time you use that 3 to 5 years. You know, it's a time where you use it to fine tune what works out and toss out what doesn't, like I was just saying. If you're not patient, if you don't step back, it's like one of those pictures where you're up so close you can only see a little piece of it. But the further you step back, the more you can see. I call it looking at things with a bird's eye view, right? But again, that runs counter to this idea of the culture of instant rewards and instant gratification. So if you can't step back far enough to see the whole picture, this can also give you a sense of failure, right? Because I planted this tree 3 years ago, it's not bearing any fruit. Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes some trees take 10 years to produce fruit. And like I said, instant gratification, instant reward. You are going to feel like this can make people feel like failures, right? And it doesn't matter how many homesteaders get on here and tell the people watching how hard it's going to be, you know, how long things take. People still have that instant gratification. It's like been bred into us. It's been programmed into us for the things that we were shown on TV, for the things we were taught in school. I mean, just about every aspect of our society teaches us to search for instant gratification and instant rewards. It promotes it. And these are not good things. It's not a good quality to always thinking a reward is supposed to be instant, or you're supposed to get instant gratification for something. And that's why it will make you unmotivated. It can give you a sense of failing, which in turn can make you unmotivated and demoralizes you. I mean, it can demoralize you into submission to the point where you even don't even want to homestead anymore. And I think this happens to a lot of people, and they quit homesteading because they've been demoralized, because they are not getting that instant gratification, that instant reward. This submission that they get beat into, this causes them to flee paradise and return to the urban and suburban ghettos that they were just fleeing out of. Yeah, some of these houses in the suburbs might look nice, but at the end of the day, it's a suburban ghetto. I don't care how you wanna look at it. or how you want to try and justify justify living in somewhere like that. Look, it's not it's not safe at the end of the day, and it's not going to give you any type of food security, right? You're going to have code enforcement. Some of y'all got HOA. I mean, it's all kinds of things that you got to worry about if you're not out here on the land. As opposed to being out here on the land, you don't really have to worry about anything whatsoever. Just controlling your own land and making sure everything gets done the way you want it to get done. Make sure your garden's set up the way you want it set up. Make sure your infrastructure's set up the way you want to set it up, and you'll be good to go. Just understand it takes a long time. It takes a while to get things up and going. It takes a while to get that rhythm going. It takes a while to get that well-oiled machine functioning and firing on all cylinders. So, top 5 reasons. I'll ask my wife her top 5 reasons, and then we can see if her top 5 matches my top 5, or if they're completely different. You know, you never know. That's why it's good to see more than one person's perspective, and it's not healthy just to only have one perspective and one perspective only. But that's my top 5. Y'all check it out. You let me know what you think is a top 5 reasons. Comment and let me know what you think. Shit, if you can only even give me one reason why you think people give up homesteading and return right back to the places that they just fled away from. All right, y'all be safe. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.